Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JC Courtside, coming at y'all today on Frisky Friday, January 9th. And I got to apologize first and foremost to start today's episode off, y'all. I apologize for not being here yesterday. I woke up with a very, very nasty migraine and a head cold. I'm still congested. I'm sure you guys can hear it, but we are going to power through. And if today's not that long, surely you understand why. We have enough content for today's podcast day. I know the Trae Young news is sort of old now because with the NBA, you got to cover it immediately. But I've been seeing a lot of people not speak about some important takes about that trade from the Atlanta Hawks side as well as the Washington Wizards side. So I have a lot of things to share on that topic that we'll be saying later on in this podcast. Today, we're going to be going over the winners and losers of the NBA week. And just to remind everybody, we do all of these episodes live on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Twitch is the main place that you want to watch, 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. So if you guys want to get involved in the community, involved in the action, be sure to join the Discord. All the links that you'll need will be down below. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. I say let's just get right into today's episode because it's an interesting one. We're going to be talking briefly about the games from last night, and then we're going to be getting into the winners and losers of this NBA week. So starting with a brief recap of this week, or I guess last night's games. Obviously, one of them was postponed. The Bulls Miami Heat. Apparently, Benny the Bull was running around the arena just peeing everywhere, and they couldn't get the condensation under control. So they ended up postponing the Miami Heat Chicago Bulls game. It's quite unfortunate. But hopefully they get that problem resolved. And yeah, we get that game sometime soon. I don't know how games getting postponed in the NBA works, to be honest, because you don't see games postponed quite often. I feel like games didn't start getting postponed for dumb reasons like this until COVID happened. I don't know how they're going to do it. I already see people ask me, when are they resuming this game? I have no idea. I don't know how any of this works. So hopefully somebody can get Benny the Bull under control. It was kind of funny, though. Benny the Bull was having a half-court three-point contest with Tyler Hero of the Miami Heat. And I guess Benny the Bull hit his first shot from half-court, so he beat Tyler Hero just like that. So at least Jerry Reinsdorf and the Bulls franchise forgives Benny the Bull for just peeing everywhere on the court. Hopefully they get that resolved sometime soon as well. Get him a diaper or something. Let's go over quickly consider this a lightning recap of last night's games. A lightning recap because we got some very important topics that we got to get into. The Minnesota Timberwolves were up by 20 against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they only won by 9. The game really wasn't close at all. The Timberwolves just let their foot off the gas. They hit 23s. You're not going to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves when they're hitting 23s. That's just not going to happen. They killed them in every normal stat that you would normally. I'm going to be talking about the Timberwolves for one of my winners of the weeks, so I don't want to talk too much about them here. What I will say is, if you are allowing the Timberwolves to Julius Randle get 28 points, Jaden McDaniels getting 26 points on 11 for 14 shooting, he was hot last night. If you're allowing Dante DiVincenzo to get 22 points and Anthony Edwards get 25 all in one night, just pack it up. You're not winning that game. Just absolutely pack it up. Something that you guys might not know is that Dante DiVincenzo, since Christmas, has the highest plus-minus out of any player. Not just on the Timberwolves, in the entire NBA. He's a plus 90 right now on the court at all times. Plus 90. So when he's on the court, the Timberwolves are scoring more than 90 points than every other team in the NBA. That's quite impressive. I don't want to talk too much about the Timberwolves because I am talking about them in the winners of the week. But quick side note, Anthony Edwards also became the third fastest player in NBA history to score 10,000 points in his career. The only guys ahead of him are LeBron James and Kevin Durant. He beat Kobe by like 100 days. That's insane. Just so you guys can understand, he's only behind LeBron and KD. That is very, very, very impressive. So shout out Anthony Edwards and his 9 baby mamas. Let's continue real quick. The Cavaliers, bad game from them. I just have to talk about the Cavaliers because I'm not going to be talking about them probably until next week. So just very quickly, side note on the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right. This goes out to everybody that's not a Cavs fan, and this goes out to everybody that is a Cavs fan. Okay. Kenny Atkinson tried out a starting lineup of 3 guards. Craig Porter Jr., who's deserving, Darius Garland, and Donovan Mitchell. And then you had Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. What an ugly, ugly, ugly game from everybody in the starting lineup except for Donovan Mitchell and Sam Merrill, who came off the bench. Evan Mobley had a good game stat-wise, but he was playing soft, and he took a dumb-ass 3 at the end of this game. Now, Sam Merrill had 22 points off the bench. That dude's a flamethrower. I learned about him very soon. But what I want to talk about are Cavs fans, okay? First of all, I want to talk about Donovan Mitchell hugging JB Bickerstaff on Sunday after the Pistons beat him. Donovan Mitchell, you got JB Bickerstaff fired. And now you're about to get another coach fired in Kenny Atkinson. I think this is one of the very few games I could say that is on Kenny Atkinson for starting that kind of lineup. The rotations are awful in Cleveland. If you guys haven't watched a Cleveland game, the rotations are awful. Most games, Donovan Mitchell comes out immediately so he can play like almost the entire second quarter, and that's how they sort of play him out. Now, this lineup, I feel like this is the only time I can truly say that this loss is on Kenny Atkinson. Kenny Atkinson won Coach of the Year last year, which I really did not agree with. And now he's about to get fired. This is about to be the second head coach of all time. It was Dwayne Casey back in 2018 when, LeBronto was still happening. That got fired immediately after winning Coach of the Year. And now it's about to happen the same way to Kenny Atkinson. This is not a good look on Donovan Mitchell. This is not a good look on Kenny Atkinson. This is not a good look for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Thank you for spoiling my next point, Darkness FFA in the Twitch chat. 21 different starting lineups this year, most in the NBA. Now, that's not good. That's not good. And to be honest, I got to say this again. This is not all falling on Kenny Atkinson. There's been injuries. There's been tic-tac injuries. He's just trying something. And I understand where he's coming. He's just trying something because nothing is working. So I honestly don't blame Kenny Atkinson all that much. He's trying. He is trying. Listen, DeAndre Hunter's not a starter. Sam Harrell's not a starter. Craig Porter's been playing better than both those guys, yet last night he was horrible. I don't know what to say. I already gave Jaden McDaniels a lot of love, but again, we are talking about the Timberwolves here shortly, so I don't want to talk too much about the Timberwolves right now. Ugly loss for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's move on to our next game, which I watched almost the entirety of. It was the Dallas Mavericks and the Utah Jazz, okay? The Dallas Mavericks and the Utah Jazz. The story of this game was Cooper Flagg playing absolutely ridiculous at the end of this. Season high game for Klay Thompson off the bench with 23 points. But there was one issue, though. Anthony Davis got hurt yet again. Now, when I tell you the Jazz were running away with this game, the Mavs were running away with this game. The Mavs were up, I think, like 6 or 7. I said the thing. They were up about 7 points. And then Anthony Davis got hurt. He got his little fingies caught in between Lauri Markkanen and him. He got hurt, and he looked like he was in a lot of pain. And, well, he went back into the locker room. And that was the end of Anthony Davis. And I guarantee you he will still get traded. I've been talking about it. I guarantee you, unless they're asking for way too much, he's going to get traded. He does not fit the timeline of this team. And honestly, he doesn't fit the timeline of the Atlanta Hawks either. So I hope the Hawks aren't pursuing him. And he still wants a max contract, by the way. He still wants a max. He came out and said, I'm still seeking a max contract. Buddy, AD, I want a max contract too. Doesn't mean you're fucking getting it. Excuse my French. Do we have any Jazz fans in the building? I'm mainly talking to the TikTok chat. Do we have any Jazz fans? Or Mavs fans? Do we have any Mavs fan or Jazz fan? Because I am recruiting right now. I need Jazz fans. I need Mavs fans. So if you guys are one of two of those teams, if you guys are fans of those teams, Ajo, I'm talking to you in the TikTok. Ajo, Kaysen, I need you guys to come through to the Twitch stream immediately because I need Jazz and Mavs fans a part of my Discord. I need them. I need them. Derek Lively's been hurt, and he's probably going to miss the entirety of the year as well. The Twitch is Jay-Z Uncut, and the link is in my bio. The Discord you can find from my Twitch stream. We need Jazz fans. We need Mavs fans. That was my goal for today. It's recruiting some Jazz and Mavs fans. So please and thank you. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch, link in my bio. So, yeah, at the end of the day, Lauri Markkanen played an incredible game. He played very, very well. He had 33 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He was missing some late shots. But I want to give a special shout out to Bryce Sensabaugh. Obviously, I can give credit where credit is due to Keontae George. He hit that nasty tween fadeaway midi to end the game. But Bryce Sensabaugh, what a great player. What a great player. I love me some Bryce Sensabaugh. He wasn't having a good game, but he had a huge clutch 3. He had a clutch midi, and he played some great defense. So shout out Bryce Sensabaugh. That's why I want some Twitch fans. That's why I want some Jazz fans, some Mavs fans. That's what I'm looking for right now to join the Twitch stream. That's what I need. I need some Jazz fans. I need some Mavs fans. I need that in my life because we don't have any. Okay? I'd like to give a special shout out to Tank for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. Tank, I appreciate you very, very much. Just so everybody knows, if you join the Twitch and you watch 3 streams in a row, I will gift you a sub so that you no longer get ads. So if you watch on the Twitch, it's by far the better experience. It's where the real basketball knowers are. So again, if you do come through to the Twitch and you watch 3 streams in a row, this only applies for new viewers. If you watch 3 streams in a row, I will gift you a sub so you no longer get ads. Shout out to Tank and Cornelius for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. Be sure to join the Discord as well. Yusuf, my boy Yusuf Habibi, welcome. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. Much love, guys. I got to move on. And then we have the Charlotte Hornets losing to the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers snapped their 13-game losing streak. And I will say it was very interesting that Charlotte brought LaMelo Ball off the bench. They're doing this so that he could play a little bit more on back-to-back nights, and I thought it was a great move. LaMelo Ball played great until the end of the game, and I can explain. Yusuf, Cornelius, and Tank, thank you guys so much for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate y'all very, very much. Sorry, I got to get back to the basketball conversation. And make sure to do ! Discord in the Twitch chat so that you could join the Discord and let us know what fan you are, react to the role accordingly in there. So ! Discord in the Twitch chat. Be sure to join that up. And remember, if you watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will gift you a sub so you never get ads. All right, guys? I appreciate you, Tank, Cornelius, and Yusuf. Be sure to join the Discord as well. Okay, here we go. So again, LaMelo Ball at the end of this game did not look good. In fact, I can tell you right now, he's a big reason why the Hornets lost this game. He's a big reason why he lost this game. Somebody respond to Cornelius, tell him like what the spiel is here, just so that he doesn't think that I'm ignoring him. Dante, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch as well. I appreciate you very, 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 very much. Shout out to everybody leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. Make sure you guys do ! Discord in the Twitch stream so that you can join there. If you guys are trying to get into sports, if you guys are trying to get into a good basketball community that is not toxic at all, be sure to join the Discord, join the Twitch stream. I appreciate y'all very, very much. And again, remember, if you guys watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will gift you a sub out of my own pocket so that you no longer get ads. All right, that's the last time I got to say that for a while. Okay, let's continue with the basketball talk. Yeah, I feel like this loss somewhat falls on LaMelo Ball. He was like one of the main reasons they were in this game, but at the end of the game, really made some key mistakes. Yeah, he shot 0 for 4 for 7 minutes in the fourth quarter. That didn't help. And then on top of that, he called for the inbound pass that got picked off and was playing bad defense. I got to be honest, it didn't work. Sexton missed the game winner. He shouldn't have passed it to Sexton. That's not his fault. He's not built for moments like that. And I don't want to hear people saying Sexton sucks. I know that the TikTok right now is all calling Sexton trash. That's why the people who know ball watch and listen on the Twitch stream. Because Sexton has been brilliant for the Charlotte Hornets this year. He's honestly been the main reason why they even have 13 wins at this point, because he's doing well. But LaMelo Ball selling with a turnover, selling with the missed calls, and not good play. He didn't play defense well at all. That was part of the loss. So shout out the Pacers for snapping that losing streak, and Rick Carlisle getting his thousandth win as a head coach. Shout out to Rick Carlisle. Yeah, this was not on Colin Sexton for missing that game winner. LaMelo Ball, if you're the superstar player, he's not a superstar, but if you're the star player of this team, you should have finished this game better. Okay? You should have finished this game better. You should not have lost to the Pacers, with all due respect. Okay, guys, it's time to move on to our winners and losers of the NBA week. That's going to summarize our quick last night recap of those games. And then, of course, like I said, the Bulls and the Heat game was postponed due to Benny the Bull just peeing all over the floor, and they couldn't clean it in time. I'd like to give another special shout out to my boy Hookah. Habibi, welcome on into the Twitch stream. Happy to have you. Be sure to do ! Discord in the Twitch chat so that you can join our Discord server where we talk all throughout all the games, and that's really where our main community hangs out. Be sure to join that up. And then on top of all of this, guys, remember, if you watch 3 streams in a row on the Twitch stream, I will gift you a $5 sub out of my own pocket to make sure that you do not get any ads at all. Okay? Make sure you stick around to the end of the show because I'm going to need your guys' help. Let's continue, guys. Let's get started with our winners and losers of the NBA week. But starting up first is the winners, and I have the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, I want to just say something very quickly. If you guys remember, I was talking about this, right? Oh, okay, yeah, before. That's a great question, Jacob. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch. He said, I bet on the Heat game last night. What's going to happen with that? I don't know. I assume your bet's going to roll over, or maybe they'll just fully refund you today. I'm not sure, okay? I'm not sure, Jacob, but I appreciate you being here in the Twitch stream, my man. Welcome. Let's start off with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this really does make me happy because I want to talk about something. I told you guys that I have not been talking about the Timberwolves nearly enough, and that's not my fault. That's because they've just been mid all year. They win 2 games, they lose 2 games. They win 3 games, they lose 2 games. They win 5 games, they lose 3 games. That's how it's been all year long. But apparently, I'm being told that they are now tied for the hottest team since Thanksgiving. And it's true. The Minnesota Timberwolves right now have won 4 games in a row. Now, mind you, 2 of them are against the Miami Heat, and then the Wizards and the Cavs. So not that great of competition. Their schedule's been light, to say the least, as of late. They haven't versed an actual contender since December 25th, which was on Christmas. And then before that was the New York Knicks. And then, 2 games before that was OKC. But you can look at the schedule right here. Ever since they played Denver, of course they're playing better. But don't forget, they lost to the Nets, they lost to the Hawks, and then they beat the Bulls, the Heat, the Wizards, the Heat, and Cleveland. So it's not that crazy of a run. It's not crazy to think that, wow, they're playing so much better. It wasn't great. And of course, that's not to discredit them. You need to beat who's in front of you, of course. I will say, for people who tell me that they had the hardest schedule to the start of the year, that's just not true. Strength of competition, the Pistons had the number 1 most difficult schedule as far as numbers and stats-wise go to start this year off for the first 15 games of the year. Now, I'd like to continue and talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves and some key points about them that I've been paying attention to. First and foremost, obviously you guys think that I'm going to talk about Ant this whole time. No, in fact, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to talk about Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is having the best year of his career. The best year of his career. Now, I got in an argument in the Discord chat last night. So be sure to join the Discord. I was talking with a 76ers fan. You already know where this is going. He 76ers fan. They're never happy. And he's telling me Gobert sucks. He hates him. There's no specific reason as to why he hates him, but he hates him and he sucks. So I actually had to defend Rudy Gobert. I got to be honest, I'm not even a fan of Rudy Gobert. But guess what I am a fan of? I'm a fan of basketball. And because of that, I can tell you right now, Rudy Gobert would make 99% of NBA teams better the second he's on their team. Anybody that talks negatively about Rudy Gobert, quite frankly, should not speak on basketball. Thank you, Mark. Rudy Gobert, when he's on the court, in fact, I had to pull up the receipts. The receipts on Rudy Gobert. Enjoy the display. So when Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards, and Julius Randle, according to Data Baller Stats, when those three are on the court, the Minnesota Timberwolves are beating teams by 14 points per game. 14 points. Okay? When Ant and Julius Randle are on the court without Rudy Gobert, they are losing by 3.5 points. Okay? I'm not done yet. When Rudy Gobert is on the court without Anthony Edwards and without Julius Randle, even without their star players, Rudy Gobert is allowing the Timberwolves to win by 6.5. When Julius Randle's on the court without Ant and Gobert, they're losing by 2. So now here's the final nail in the coffin. Anytime Rudy Gobert is on the court, the Minnesota Timberwolves are winning by more than 10 points in a game. These are all backed by stats. When they're losing, when Rudy is off the court, they're losing by 3 every game. So I'd like to reiterate this one more time. Without Rudy Gobert, this year, I assure you, I will put my entire bank account on it if it were possible to prove this stat. But the Minnesota Timberwolves would be a play-in team without a doubt in my mind. Without Rudy Gobert, you can keep Ant, you can keep Dante, you can keep Naz Reid, has been horrible this year after he got paid. You can keep Julius Randle, keep all of those guys. You replace Rudy Gobert with a DeAndre Ayton, with a hurt Joel Embiid, hell, with most centers in the NBA. And your team would barely be a play-in team. You would have to be carried by Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle to be a play-in team. So when I tell you the T-Wolves are good without Rudy, but they are great with Rudy. And I have to tell you guys one more time, they would not have sniffed the conference finals the last 2 years without Rudy Gobert. And for my Timberwolves fans, I know this is somewhat frustrating to hear from me, but as a non-biased fan, I understand how frustrating it is to see Rudy Gobert miss pass after pass after pass. I know how frustrating it is that he's 7 foot tall and doesn't want to take a layup. I understand how frustrating it is that no matter how many dime that Ant throws him, he just fumbles it. I understand how frustrating all of those plays are in the game. But what he brings to your defensive side is irreplaceable. There's a stat that started because of Rudy Gobert, and it's screen assists. Because of him, that stat exists. And just for the nail in the coffin for any other doubters out here about Rudy Gobert, go look at the advanced stats. I'm not saying go look at blocks. I'm saying look at affected shots. Rudy Gobert, for the last 7 years, that's dating back to 2019, has led the NBA in most shots altered around the rim, because that's a statistic now. The most shots altered around the rim. So by that, I mean, think of D Rose's iconic, just finesse around the rim. Obviously, it wasn't D Rose doing it at that time. Think of Ja Morant, prime Ja Morant, now not poopy Ja Morant. Think of Cade Cunningham. Think of all of these guards who drive to the rim. Think of all the centers who try scoring on him. He alters the most shots in NBA for the last 7 years. And TikTok, guess what? Guess what TikTok is saying, everybody? In case you need more validation to come to the Twitch stream, TikTok said he don't bring crap against Joker, and that's my main issue with him. Chat, what he's telling you in the TikTok is, hey, I like M&M's better, so sprinkles suck. We all know sprinkles don't suck. We all know sprinkles are pretty good. They may not be on the level of M&M's, but they're both good. Two things can be the same. Two things can be the same. Roller coasters are awesome, but water slides don't suck. Water slides are fun. So TikTok, how about you guys stick to being idiots. And then for the smart people in the TikTok, make sure you come through to the Twitch stream. Get away from morons like that. Come through to the Twitch stream. Join the actual intellectual group. So honestly, that's what I got to say on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm not saying they're good because of Rudy. I'm saying they're great because of Rudy. Without Rudy, this team wouldn't be a 4th seed in the East. They're only 6 games behind the number 1 seed. Guess what? They're only a game and a half out of the 2nd seed. A game and a half behind the 2nd seed. That's more than obtainable. That's more than obtainable. I think the Timberwolves are stepping up, but right now, honestly, they got to figure out what the hell is wrong with Naz Reid. He's been sort of poopy this year. He seems to have got paid and just forgot to give effort. And for everybody that says trade Rudy Gobert, all of the points that I just pointed out, I hope that you change your mind on that, because if people say, oh, just start Naz Reid next to Julius Randle. Naz Reid is arguably one of the worst defending bigs in the NBA. I'm not exaggerating. He's arguably one of the worst defending bigs in the NBA. So if you were to have a lineup with Naz Reid in the starting lineup, just know you are getting rid of your entire defensive scheme. On top of that, everyone says they need a point guard. They need a point guard. They need a point guard. Trade for Ja. Yuck. Trade for Tyler Hero. Yuck. Trade for all of these players, right? Get a good point guard for this team. If trading Rudy is at the expense of getting a point guard, say goodbye to your entire identity as a team. Because if you start Naz Reid, GG's, you are not competing with 99% of the teams. He does not play defense. And yes, he doesn't want to shoot right now. I love this comment from Hollywood. He said 0 effort in rotations and can't grab a board unless it rolls down. I fully agree. I fully agree. Hollywood must be a Timberwolves fan. That's what I'm understanding. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to my next winner of the week. My next winner of the week. I know you guys are expecting this, but it has to be said. It has to be said. So my apologies for anybody that gets tight about this. The Detroit Pistons are my next winner of the week. I don't want to talk too long because I know how you guys get when I talk about my Pistons. I mean, this is quite obvious. They beat the Cavaliers on Sunday, and then on a night of a back-to-back, they fly to Detroit and beat the New York Knicks. Not just beat the New York Knicks, smack them by 31. And then on Wednesday, mind you, I just got to reiterate this as well. Against Cleveland, they were missing Tobias, LeVert, and Duren. On Monday, against the Knicks, they were missing Tobias, LeVert, and Duren. On Wednesday, guess what? They were missing Cade Cunningham, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren. Yes, they were missing Cade Cunningham, and they still got the win. You know how? By doing it by committee. Isaiah Stewart, career high 31-point game. 2 blocks. Been doing it all year. That's a low block game for Stu. 1 steal, 14 for 17 from the field, and 2 for 3 from deep. The Pistons are 10-1 when Isaiah Stewart is starting. And that 1 loss was also without Duren. Now, I got to shut down this comment immediately. Hollywood in the Twitch chat said Pistons need to get rid of Duncan Robinson. Okay, you get rid of... This is why I don't like talking about people who don't know general basketball knowledge. Okay? I'm going to read a text message that I sent to my cousin who said the same exact thing about Duncan Robinson. It's time to take you out to school real quick. So, I'm reading this text verbatim, literally word for word that I sent my cousin. Something you got to pay attention to with Duncan is what he brings to the starting lineup. I'm reading my text just so y'all can see. I'm reading my text right here. Because of him, Cade is allowed to get to the hoop. As much gravity as Cade demands, they have to stay home on Duncan because of his threat from deep. I know his shot isn't falling right now, but this dude is a professional. 70 playoff games and 2 finals appearances. He will be just fine come playoff time. And even if he's not hitting shots consistently, he's doing things that Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley never did for the Pistons. The handoffs, the great handoffs he has with Stu and Duren like he did with Bam in Miami. Rebounding, effort, and playmaking with shot making around the hoop. Also, a small detail that nobody talks about is they kept doing it tonight against the Knicks. He would set these little screens for Cade, which forced the weakest defender in Brunson or McBride onto Cade. Sort of how teams attack Duncan, they did that with the Knicks for Cade to attack their weakest defender. That's something they started doing last night, and it's a perfect formula. Duncan Robinson does all the little things even when his shot isn't falling. He demands respect from his defender at all times, and his playmaking is very underrated. And this is another comment to feed off of that. Also, obviously, we were hoping that Ivy would start, but with how well Duncan is working, it's hard to switch it. Ivy has been underperforming and is my next pick to get moved from the Pistons. As far as trading Tobias or LeVert, you also don't want to shake things up too much. I want a marginal move. So if we could end up starting Stu next to Duren and move Tobias to the bench, I'm more than fine with that if it doesn't affect the culture too much. We're the number 1 seed, but it's clear they need more shooting. Even though over the last 6 games, they've improved their shooting up to 39% from deep, which is extremely above average as a team. They still need more. That was all a text I sent to my cousin. So I don't think I need to get a whole lot into why the Pistons are the winner of the week. I think that sort of shows you what you need. And Hollywood, thank you for proving to me that you just flat out ignored that entire sentiment I said. Duncan Robinson is shooting 38% from deep right now. 38%. 38% on like 5 or 6 attempts per game. Okay? Yes, he's not hitting them that consistently, but what he does is demand gravity because of Duncan being at that 3-point line, because of Duncan just full on sprinting around the 3-point line. Cade is allowed to drive to the rim and do whatever it is he wants. Duncan Robinson is honestly, arguably, one of my favorite Pistons in the last 20 years already. He does everything right. He's a straight up professional. The only thing that's going to get exposed is his defense. It is his defense. That's the only thing I can say. But most teams in the NBA don't attack the weakest defender. And the Pistons have been doing extremely well. Please do me a favor, everybody, before I move on. Go watch that Knicks Pistons game and watch how the Pistons hid Duncan Robinson. Asar stopped switching and Brunson stopped scoring. It's flat out like, you guys got to understand. I know a lot about basketball. And you know what I know the most of? Pistons basketball. And I can show you this flat out. If none of what I'm saying is proof enough, then stats will show you alone. When Duncan Robinson is on the court for the Detroit Pistons, the Pistons are beating teams by 7 points in a game. When he's off the court, we're winning by 9.2. But guess what? That's because of players like Javonte Green, who has a 9.3. So whenever Duncan comes out, Javonte Green comes up and plays well on both sides of the court. I have an answer for every question when it comes to the Detroit Pistons. So please, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, enjoy your cup of coffee, and just say Detroit basketball is back. They're my winner of the week. They've won 3 in a row. They're playing much, much better basketball. They are also number 1 in net rating, as well as top 5 in offense and top 2 in defense. So the Detroit Pistons right now are leading almost every advanced analytical stat, and that's why they're my winner of the week. We have to move on. TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. You would enjoy it so much more over here in the Twitch stream. I'm looking for more Pistons fans. I'm looking for some Bulls fans. I really need some Blazers, Jazz, and Mavs fans in the Twitch stream. Okay? My next winner of the week is the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, I don't talk about the Trail Blazers a whole lot. Listen, they've won 4 in a row, and against teams that, you know, like I always say, you got to beat the teams that you have. Like, you're supposed to beat these teams. Okay? I got to respond to one more comment. This TikTok said the Pistons offense is so bad, they will get exposed in the playoffs. Pistons offense is top 5 in the NBA, but go off. Again, that should be the one comment in the TikTok stream that makes you make the decision to swing on into the Twitch stream. Get away from idiots like that in the TikTok and come through to the Twitch. We need you over here. Jay-Z Uncut. Link is in my bio. They beat the Pelicans, they beat the Spurs, they beat the Jazz, and they beat the Rockets. These are big wins. Now, I know this is very controversial. Denny Avdia. Man, this guy's whistle is incredible. he is averaging the most free throws per game than any other player in the NBA right now. Straight up. He is averaging the most free throws per game attempted by any player in the NBA right now. And I know it's frustrating to see. I know it's frustrating to hear. But this guy just dropped 41 points against the Rockets. He had 15 free throws. I don't know what Denny Avdia did in the summer to deserve these whistles, but I think Adam Silver's behind it. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, I watch Blazers games. I'd like to say I watch 2 Blazers games every week. And the way he gets these foul calls, it's really funny. It's really, really funny. He just sprints to the rim and just throws his arms up, and it somehow works. It somehow works. It's like, it's weird, man. It's weird. If you know what I'm talking about, I think Adam Silver is a little bit behind it. If you got wink, wink, I can't get into the politics of these things, but if you know what I'm saying. So I want to continue and talk more about the Portland Trail Blazers. They are doing something right now that is super duper important. Okay. First and foremost, look at the teams that are on their tail, right? The Dallas Mavericks and the Grizzlies, they are both a few games behind the Trailblazers, right? And they're clinging into the play-in. They are 4 games ahead from the 11th seed, which would fall out of the play-in. Now, they are winning at the most important time because the Clippers are also climbing right now as well. The Portland Trailblazers right now are winning at the time that they need to win the most because teams are catching up. If they want to be a play-in team, right now is the time to be doing it. And say what you will about the Portland Trailblazers. I wish we had Blazers fans in here, man. I know you guys might think that like it's just free throws that are winning them these games, but I just got to take you through some of the advanced metrics. They're 8th in rebounding, 10th in three-pointers made, and 4th in three-pointers attempted. They're also 4th in free throws made, 3rd in free throws attempted. Denny Avdia is a very talented basketball player, but you're seeing about the limitations, what this team can bring. Unfortunately for them, they need Drew Holiday back. They need Jeremy Grant back. And we don't even know, bro, is Scoot Henderson alive? Can we get any comment from Scoot? Is Scoot alive, bro? What is going on with Scoot? Because I genuinely don't know. I don't know what's going on with Scoot Henderson. I don't know. Apparently he's been on 2K. So what I will say about the Blazers, just to end it, I don't really have much to say about them. They do it by committee on most nights. If they do somehow make the playoffs, right? If they do somehow make the playoffs, you know Denny Avdia is not going to get these free throws, right? You guys understand that, right? The refs don't call free throws like that in the playoffs. Not like that. Not for one player. So if they do somehow make it, I'm just warning y'all. That's not how it works. I'm being told that Scoot is still hurt, but yeah, man, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to talk about for the Portland Trailblazers. They've won 4 in a row, and they're doing pretty well right now. We'll see. A play-in would definitely be a success story for this team. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing out of Caleb Love. He'll get more consistent. He'll shoot better. I'm not worried about him. He's playing very, very well. As far as the contracts between Shaedon Sharpe and Toumani Camara, I think the only contract between the two that are looking like worth it right now is Shaedon Sharpe. If they had Chauncey Billups as head coach, I think they would be better. No disrespect to Tiago Splitter, but the team was clicking with Chauncey Billups. And, who knows if it was just an early season hot start. I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is I need Trailblazers fans in the Twitch stream. I definitely need Trailblazers fans in the Twitch stream. Now, up next, for my final winner of the week, I usually only do 3. For my final winner of the week is the Washington Wizards. Listen, y'all, any day, I've never thought I'd say this year. Never thought I'd say this year. Never. Any day that you're able to trade an expiring contract in CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert for Trae Young, that's a win. That's a win. Now, I'm going to be talking about Trae Young a bit more at the end of this. But listen, man, I'm going to be talking about some things. I want to stay positive because we're in the winners right now. I'm not going to talk negatives right now, okay? Because there's a lot of negatives. This is a positive for Wizards fans, negative for Trae Young. A good thing for the Wizards that makes them a winner is Trae Young's not going to play this year. Trae Young is probably going to play 10 games. I think I said in the Discord that he won't play more than 15 games for the Washington Wizards this year. That's great because they just traded CJ McCollum, who has won them multiple games this year. CJ McCollum flat out, the Wizards have won too many games this year. They've won 10 games, and CJ McCollum is a big part of it. CJ McCollum is part of the reason why they're winning those games. So they just traded a guy that was winning too many games for them. Now they got a guy in Trae Young that's not going to play for them this year. This is a great move for the Wizards. They're going to lose a lot. So shout out the Wizards. Their new GM is doing a great job. In case you guys don't know, he came from the Thunder. This is a win for the Washington Wizards. They're going to lose a lot of games. So bad for Wizards fans, but good for Wizards fans in a sense because this will only help their odds for the draft. They're going to lose a lot of games, especially without Trae Young, without CJ McCollum, Corey Kispert sucks, but with all due respect, this is going to work great. They're going to get another top pick. Yeah, that's a win for the Washington Wizards. And like I said, with the Trae Young trade, this is another positive thing. Trae Young obviously wants a max contract. In case you guys don't know, Trae Young has 3 agents. No wonder bro wants a max contract. He's got to split that shit in between 4 places. He's got 3 agents. Trae, what are we doing? So, with Trae Young, I see him picking up his player option. I see him picking up his player option because he's not going to get $50 million from any team in the NBA. He is not getting 50 M's from any team in the NBA. I'm telling you that 100%. He's not getting 50 million. And this is sort of a take that I want to talk about later on. I'm not going to say it. It's super juicy. It's super juicy. It's super juicy. So make sure you guys stick around. It's super freaking juicy. Stick around. I don't want to say that right now because it fits my other topic for the losers of the week. What I will say is, if Trae Young extends with the Washington Wizards, it's going to be something like Brandon Ingram with the Toronto Raptors. I talked about this in my Discord yesterday. So again, if you guys are not in the Twitch stream, if you are not in the Discord, you are missing out on a lot of information. Good information by me, good information by my ball-knowing community. So TikTok, what are you doing, man? Come to the Twitch stream. Brandon Ingram signed a 3-year, $120 million deal with the Toronto Raptors. And that was when they traded him, and then he didn't play a single game for the Raptors last year, but they extended him anyways. So if they do the same for the Washington Wizards, if he signs something similar of a 3-year, $120, even $130 million deal, he's in his prime. He's not even in his prime yet, Jay. He's still 27. Which is bad because his value has dropped off a cliff like that, which I'll be talking about that in a bit. If he signs a 3-year, $120, $130 million, that's a great deal for the Wizards. Ladies and gentlemen, the Atlanta Hawks have been a play-in team for the last 3 years. Do you guys want to know the best record the Hawks have ever had with Trae Young? It was the COVID season, with a year that they went to the conference finals 5 years ago. They went 41-31. That was the best season Atlanta ever had with Trae Young, 41-31. If you count best 82 game season, there were 3 games above 500. Now, if you're trying to tell me that the Wizards won't be happy for the next couple years to make the play-in, you're out of your damn mind. The Wizards want to make the play-in. The Wizards want to win 40 games. The Wizards want to win 38 games and make the play-in. The Wizards want that. The Wizards are not making money. They're making money, but it's not as much money as they want. The Wizards are a dying franchise. They want to win 40 games. They don't care about winning a fucking championship, excuse my French. They care about getting getting asses in those seats. They would love to be a 3-peat play-in team. They would love that. You know how we're all making fun of the Hawks, the Heat, the Bulls for always making the play-in? Washington would die for that. So shout out to the GM of the Washington Wizards. If he can extend Trae on a 3-year deal on a discounted rate, that is huge. Also, it goes to show, I got to say that later. Now we're going to move on to our losers of the week, ladies and gentlemen. But before we do that, shout out to my boy Jolar, for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure you join the Discord, !Discord. And remember, guys, if you are watching on the Twitch stream, if you watch for 3 streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 sub so you no longer get ads. That only applies to new viewers. So if you watch for 3 streams in a row on Twitch, I will gift you a $5 sub so you no longer get ads. Sort of an investment in the future for you guys. Let's move on to our losers. At number 1, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, Jay, what do you mean the Lakers? They won their last game. Or sorry, they lost their last game. But before that, they won 3 in a row. I just got to show y'all this, man. I'm going to show you guys as well. Can we look through their schedule? Before we do, I got to share with y'all. I got to share y'all why the Lakers are my loser of the week. Again, something interesting about the Los Angeles Lakers is they have the largest margin of losses. They do. When the Lakers win, they win by single digits. When they lose by double digits. The Lakers, you can go through their schedule. They lost by 17 against the San Antonio Spurs, okay? Or 16. Before that, they lost to the Pistons by 22. Before that, they lost by 23 against the Rockets. Before that, they lost by 24 against the Phoenix Suns. Before that, they lost by 25 against the Los Angeles Clippers. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? When they lose, they get dominated. Do you know why? Let me show you some more interesting stats. For anybody that thinks the Lakers are serious, I think this one stat sheet will show you they're just not. They are 28th in minutes played. They are 26th in rebounds. They are 25th in assists, 27th in blocks, 23rd in field goals made, 29th in field goals attempted, 25th in three-pointers made, 23rd in three-pointers attempted, 28th in three-point percentage. But because of Luka Doncic, they are second in free throws made and attempted. So, if you guys truly want to tell me that the Lakers are contenders, just show them that screen. And if you want to show whatever else, like, I don't know, maybe their defense, 28th in guarding the 3, 29th in allowing the best percentage of three-pointers, 27th, they're allowing the most field goals made against them. They're giving up the 6th most turnovers in the NBA, and they're allowing teams to just out-dime them. The Lakers are not a serious team. They don't play defense. If anybody tells you the Lakers are good, don't believe them. Because again, their wins are against non-500 teams. Don't believe me? Hell, let's look one more time. They beat the Pelicans, who are on a 9-game losing streak. They beat the Grizzlies twice. They beat the Kings. They beat the Jazz. Have you noticed a single playoff team here yet? Oh, hello. The Philly, they beat them. They beat the Raptors. But to find that, you have to go over a month ago to find the last team that they beat that is a playoff team. I'm not kidding. I have another very important stat for y'all. The Los Angeles Lakers, over the last 25 years, there's a very interesting stat. And I want you, if you guys have never heard of this, to tell me straight up, wow, I didn't know that. I need you guys, if you genuinely don't know the stat that I'm about to tell you, I need you to let me know, because it's a very interesting one. I'm telling you that you get the best of the best around here in the Jay-Z streams. Did you know that the Los Angeles Lakers schedule always starts easy and then gets harder as the year goes on? Starting in February is when their schedule gets taken serious. Did you know why? It's because they want their games to get watched when football's over. So when the NFL ends, they give them their most entertaining games, which of course, the most entertaining games are against other good teams, correct? So for the first 3 quarters of the season, they put them against the weakest competition. And then at the end of the season, when the NFL ends, they put them against the most difficult competition. Let me know if you didn't know that. And if you need more proof of that, hell, let me show you. Let's look at all the non-playoff teams that they have lost to already, or that they've played. Pelicans, Grizzlies, Kings, Suns, Clippers, Jazz, Suns. Let's keep going. Suns, Pelicans, Mavs, Clippers, Jazz, Bucks, Pelicans, Hornets, Hawks, Trailblazers, Heat in a sense, Grizzlies, Portland, Sacramento. Do you guys see what I'm saying? The only entertaining games they have are around the holidays and the start of the season. Start of the season, they put them against the Warriors and the Timberwolves. Holidays, let's go to Halloween. They played the Timberwolves. Let's go to Thanksgiving. They played the Clippers because it's a rival. Or no, I think it was, yeah. And then Christmas, who'd they play? The Rockets. Do you guys see what I'm saying? And then if you want to look ahead of their schedule, if you want to look even further beyond, go ahead and look, because it's nothing but playoff teams. So if the Lakers don't win these games right now, I assure you they are going to be dropping down these standings. They are already 5th. They're only half a game from 6th. Guess what? They can fall into the play-in in a game and a half. These are stats that you're not hearing anywhere else, y'all. These are stats that you're not hearing anywhere else. TikTok, again, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio, Jay-Z Uncut. My next loser of the week, we got to wrap this episode up, by the way. My next loser of the week is the Oklahoma City Thunder. I have listen, this is the first ever time. And the main reason is because they lost to the Hornets, they lost to the Suns, and they should have lost to the Jazz as well. Listen, they're everybody's favorite to win it all. I'm really cherry picking here by putting them as the loser of the week, but we're probably never going to have another chance to call the Oklahoma City Thunder a loser of the week. So if it took a legacy game from the Hornets and a great game and a buzzer beater for Devin Booker on the Suns and an almost win for the Utah Jazz, we got to call them a loser of the week if they're losing to the Hornets and the Suns, right? We have to. They lost in the championship game against the Hornets. So listen, I'm not going to talk deep onto this, although I will say it seems like J-Dub is sort of getting really sensitive about this year. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to J-Dub, but he sort of forgot how to shoot, shooting 30% from deep and 46% from the field. Listen, man, I'm not too worried about this team, but I had to call him a loser of the week. He has not been playing great. If you've been watching the Thunder games, he has not been playing great. But I got to be honest with everybody. You know, we were all expecting when the season got rolling that they're going to break the win record. They're going to win 70 games. And now TikTok is telling me that he was injured. Hey, thanks, Captain Obvious. He's been back for over a month. So if you want to play it like that, that's fine. Wow, man, people are idiots. So what I want to, he's played 19 games. What is this guy telling me that he was injured? Eat it. So what I want to say is, like, we were all expecting them to win 70 games. We were all expecting them to beat the win record, right? But something that, like, most of us expected is that they would coast this year. Going into the year, we expected the Thunder to coast. So now I'm like, sort of, you know what? Coast. It doesn't matter right now. Just coast. Because that's what we thought about the Celtics as well last year. They were coasting. But turns out they really just weren't that good last year. So I think the Thunder are more than fine. I just wanted to call them a loser because we might not get another chance to call them a loser this year. Yeah, they're my loser of the week. We'll see if Twitch chat hates J-Dub. Oh my God, I'm seeing. Let me read some of these comments. J-Dub forgot how to play ball. He's a cornball, corniest player in the league. He get butthurt, in my opinion. Like, chill, bro. You make more in a year than I'll ever make in my life, bro. More than you, your significant other, your parents, your kids, your kids' kids, your kids' kids' kids, your kids' 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 kids. Just no disrespect to your family, but you know, Unless you got LeBron James sitting in that sack of yours. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Loser of the week. Loser of the week. And now for my final loser of the week, we have the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks. Listen, guys. I haven't seen anybody talk about this, so I'm going to talk about it. We're all in understanding that the Trae Young package was not it, right? So I would describe this Trae Young trade as a party. Let's use me for an example. I'm at a party. I'm leaning on the wall, checking the weather app. And I see Cade Cunningham. If my fiance is listening, ignore the pecking order that I'm using here. I see Cade Cunningham on the dance floor, and he's getting down, right? He's wearing his buffs, looking handsome as ever, and I want to dance with him. And Cade looks at me and says, ew. First of all, I'd kill myself if that were to happen. But he looks at me and says, ew, I don't want to dance with you. So then I go back to the wall. I put my foot up. I check the weather app again, refresh the mail. And then I see my lovely fiance. But let's say she wasn't my fiance. Let's say she was just some random broad in the club. And I see her and I say, damn, I want to dance with her. And she says, ew, I don't want to dance with you. So then I go back to the wall. I check the weather app. I refresh my email app. And then I see, I don't know, Steve Buscemi. And he's all that's left, and he's also looking for somebody else to dance with. And I say, all right, fuck it. I guess I'll go dance with Steve Buscemi. My point being is Trae Young wanted to go play with the Timberwolves. Timberwolves said, ew, we don't want that. He wanted to go play with the Rockets. The Rockets said, ew, we don't want that. And then he came out an hour before the trade and said, I want to go to Washington. No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. You don't want to go play in Washington. Who wants to go play in Washington? Nobody wants to play in Washington. So the point being is Trae Young was leaning on the wall at a party, and he just wanted to dance with somebody that wanted to dance with him. And the only person that wanted to dance with him was the Washington Wizards. Now, something serious that we all need to look at now is Trae Young is not a bad player. He's horrible defensively. He forgot how to shoot the basketball at an efficient rate, but he's a great playmaker. And I think he's a good second to third option on a championship contending team. Okay? Now, my point being, we would all agree Trae Young is an all-star, correct? Any objections? Trae Young, in his career that he has played so far, excluding this year, is an all-star, correct? He's a four-time all-star. I think that's pretty fair to say. He's an all-star. I don't like when somebody's an all-star one time and they call him an all-star. So Trae Young is an all-star. My point being is what you are seeing shift in today's NBA. I promise that little cute story that I just told has a point. Trae Young is an all-star, but what Trae Young isn't is a cornerstone for a franchise. For example, let's look at Anthony Edwards. Let's look at Cade Cunningham. Let's look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Let's look at Nikola Jokic. These are players that lead their team and do it well, right? Maybe I should exclude Cade because there's been no success as of now as far as the playoffs go. But let's use Ant, let's use Nikola, let's use Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. My point being, these three are franchise cornerstones, correct? Right? We can all agree upon that. Now, Trae Young is an all-star. He's on the bottom of that ranking, which means Trae Young is what? He's a top 30 player in the NBA. That's fair to say. Trae Young is a top 30 player in the NBA. He's probably right there at like 28 to 30, but he's still a top 30 in the NBA, which means he's a top 30 basketball player in the world. Okay? What you are seeing in real time is the value of an all-star plummet. What you are seeing now is teams are no longer building around the offseason and free agency. Teams are now building around the trade deadline and trades. The main reason is quite simple. With the second apron and the addition of that, you need to build your team through the draft or through restricted free agency. And if you can't do that, you have to hope that you're a big enough market that you can convince players in trades or free agency to come play for your team. So with the value of a Trae Young, it's at an all-time low. Any player in that same ranking, it's at an all-time low, because what you just saw over the summer was hell. Drew Holiday got traded for more than Trae Young did. Jimmy Butler got traded for more than Trae Young did. And he's 10 years older than him. Drew Holiday is 8 years older than him. The difference is value. Drew Holiday may not be an all-star right now, but he does play on both sides of the court. So what you have in Trae Young at being just a purely offensive player who can't even shoot right now, that value is at an all-time low. So this is something to pay attention to for years to come, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to start seeing these fringe all-star players getting traded for bags of chips. And I mean that by no disrespect. Miami Heat fans, if you're out there listening, do you truthfully believe that you're getting a trade, you're getting a pick for Tyler Hero at this point in time? You saw Mikal Bridges get traded for 5 picks and 4 guaranteed. You saw Desmond Bane get traded for 4 picks. That is done. That is not happening anymore. Unless your name is Giannis Antetokounmpo, you are not getting picks anymore. What's his name? Tyler Hero is not going to get you a pick. Trae Young couldn't get you a second round pick. And do you guys truthfully think, do you, with all of your heart of hearts, truthfully believe that there were better options out there? That they accepted CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert? The Atlanta Hawks held on to Trae Young for too long. I said last year at the trade deadline, they need to make a move. They need to make a move and get rid of Trae. You can get picks. You can get picks right now. Trae Young last year on the stat sheet looked good. Not his shooting, but he looked good. 24 points per game. He led the league in assists with 11.6. He had 1.2 steals. He shot 41% from the field, which is bad, and 34% from the three-point line, which was his worst in the last 6 years. If the Atlanta Hawks didn't care about making the if the Atlanta Hawks didn't care about making the play-in for the 3rd year in a row, they could have got a generational amount for Trae Young. They could have punked the Timberwolves. They could have punked the Rockets. They could have punked the Suns. They could have punked so many teams. This guy, Trae Young, is 27 years old, chat. He's my age. In fact, I'm 6 months older than Trae Young. He should be entering his prime right now. Yet he just got traded for an expiring contract and a bag of chips. That is why the Atlanta Hawks are my losers of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to do it. I said today would be a short episode because I'm not feeling well. And yet here we are with possibly one of the longest episodes we've ever done around here live, being at 1 hour and 4 minutes. TikTok, YouTube, I appreciate everybody for watching and listening. Be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream because we are still live on Twitch. Podcast listeners, I'm talking to you guys on Apple and Spotify. Be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. It helps more than y'all could possibly understand. If you guys are hearing me as well on the Twitch, just take 5 seconds and go leave a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, even if you don't listen. And Twitch chat, be sure to stick around for just a bit. We're not done with you. That's going to do it for this week. We got a lot of interesting games this weekend, so I hope you guys lock into that. Monday, we got a very fun episode, and we have a very fun activity that we're going to be doing around here every Monday and Friday. So be sure you're here on Monday and be sure you're here on Friday. It's going to be like two of the most important days throughout the weeks. The trade deadline is nearing, so get ready. Be sure to turn your notifications on for Shams because who knows what's going to happen. We got the next month of NBA, ladies and gents, on and off the court. It's going to get very, very interesting. I can't wait until the Pistons trade Karis LeVert and a second-round pick for Trey Murphy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thank you for watching/listening. I'll see y'all Monday. Have a blessed weekend.